Hi friends, Juan the Yarn Addict here, bringing you a tutorial on how to do the modern granny square. So the modern granny square typically is worked up using two different colors of yarn, any two colors that you would like. The more opposite they are, the more attractive your modern granny square will look. So for today's tutorial, I'm going to be using white and neon pink. I'm also going to be using a 6mm crochet hook. And for the tutorial, I do have a pair of scissors and a darning needle to sew in our ends. So to start, I'm going to choose one of the colors. For today's tutorial, I'm going to be using white to start out with. And so to start, what we need to do is we need to create a slip knot on our hook. However you do this is absolutely fine, so long as the end result is this. From here, what we need to do is chain 4. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. From here, we need to go into the first chain, drop a loop, and slip to close. So we need to tug on the working yarn, tighten everything up, and pull the chain apart. And as you can see, there is a circle there. We're going to take the tail and hold on to the tail with the chain on the one side, just like that. And from here, we're going to chain 3. The chain 3 does count as a double crochet. And to start our first side, we need to add to that by going into the circle and doing 2 more double crochets. So to do a double crochet, you're going to yarn over, go into your circle, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. We're going to do that one more time to complete the first side. Yarn over, go into your circle, draw up a loop, yarn over, go through 2, yarn over, go through 2. So these 3 double crochets complete the first side. So from here, we're going to do a corner, which is 2 double crochets. And then we're going to go on and build our second side. So our second side is 3 double crochets. Go into your circle for the first double crochet, the second double crochet, and the third double crochet. From here, we're going to build another corner, which is a chain 2. And since we've crocheted over the tail over on this side, we can remove the tail from our equation, go back into the circle and do 3 more double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. So there are 3 sides now. From here, we're going to chain 2 for our corner. And to complete our last side here, we're going to go into the circle and do 3 double crochets to start with. So that's 1, 2, and 3. We're going to chain 2. And then we're going to go right into that middle stitch. So I'm not going to go into the 3 chains there. I'm going to go into the middle stitch there. That's what I do. I drop a loop and I slip to close, just like that. That's what it looks like. So from here, we're going to chain 2. We're going to grab the scissors and we're going to cut a tail. We're going to pull the crochet hook away from our work. We're going to hold onto the yarn with our one hand, and then with the other hand, we're going to pinch and pull down, just like that. And that's what it looks like on the front side. So we're going to turn it over to the back side, and we're going to sew in our ends, okay? Or our one end, rather. So we're going to yarn over the eye of the needle, pinch directly underneath, pull the needle away, and then feed it through, just like that. From here, we're going to do a zigzag technique. We're going to feed the needle this way, and then this way, and then this way. So the goal here is to go in between the yarn and pick up the fibers in between. There we go. So that's 1. We're going to go in the other direction. Okay, that's 2. Let's go back for a final pass. and 3. Use your thumb and your index finger to flatten everything out. Okay, very good. Now let's trim everything down. And since we crocheted over this, we can go ahead and trim this tail. Perfect. Okay, so let's move this out of the way. Okay, so let's turn it back over to the front side. And the way that you can tell which side is the front and which side is the back, the stitches actually lean towards the front. So you see how we can see the front loop and the back loop on this side, but then on this side, we can only see the tops of the back loops. That's because the work is tilted that way. So that means this is the front. Okay. So to start round 2, what we're going to need to do is create a slip knot on our hook. Okay, friends, to start round 2, what we need to do is grab our second color and create a slip knot on the hook. However you do this is absolutely fine. This is how I do it. And we're going to pick up our work and go into any corner with a standing single crochet. So we're going to go into our chain space, draw up a loop. We have 2 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and go through both loops. That is a standing single crochet. From here, we're going to chain 1, and then we're going to go back into the corner with a single crochet, chain 1, and then we're going to go back into the corner again with a single crochet. And that is going to be the case for every corner throughout your entire project. It's going to be single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. All right. So to come over to the next corner, or yes, to the next corner, we're going to chain 2. From here, we're going to go back into the corner, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, and then single crochet. Okay. From here, we're going to chain 2, go back into the next corner, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, single crochet. Okay. So from here, we're going to chain 2, go back into the corner with a single crochet, chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, and then a single crochet. And to close this off, we need to chain 2, and then insert our hook into the very first single crochet, which is right here. We need to make sure we get the front and the back loop, draw up a loop, slip to close, and then we chain 2, and we do what we did the last row. We're going to cut a tail, pull the hook away from our work, hold the yarn, pinch, and pull down. And that's what this is looking like. Now, some of you may say, Juan, why did you chain 2 and not chain 3 on your sides? And it's a matter of preference. I like my chain spaces to be very tight. I don't like a lot of holes. So by eliminating 1 chain, when we go into the next round, which you'll see in just a minute, these chain spaces get pulled on with stitches, and so holes form. So to eliminate the holes as much as possible, I take 1 chain away. Okay, so let's go ahead and flip this over to the back side and sew in our ends very quickly. Yarn over the eye, pinch, and feed through. And then, let's see here. Just feed it through. Nothing too extravagant. That knot is going to prevent anything from falling apart. So it's a matter of just hiding the tail. Okay. There we go. From here, we're going to trim the tail there. And here it's too short anyway, so we're actually going to crochet over this in the next round, so we're going to hold on to that one. Okay, so that's what this is looking like. Let's move the pink out of the way. Let's go back to the white. Okay, so to start round 3, let's go ahead and grab our yarn and create a slip knot on our hook. Just like that. And now what we're going to do is we're going to go into a corner, and if you can see here, there are single chains in between the single crochet. So we're going to create a standing single crochet in between. So we're going to go in, drop a loop. We have 2 loops on the hook. We're going to yarn over and go through both of those loops. That is a standing single crochet. We did it down here. From here we're going to chain 2. Let's bring that tail over so we can crochet over it. Okay, and in that spot where we just were, we're going to go back in there and do 2 more double crochets. 1 and 2. Okay, so that's our first granny cluster. And now we're going to chain 2. We're going to hop over to the space in between these 2 single crochets. So we're going to yarn over and go in, draw up a loop, do our double crochet, that's 1, and we're going to go back in there and do 2 more. 2 and 3. So that is our corner, just like that. Okay, now we've crocheted over our tail here. So before we proceed any further, let's go ahead and trim that off. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go into this chain space with 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. You see how it pulls? Okay, so now we're going to do 3 double crochets in the next space in between these singles here. Yarn over, go in, do our double crochet, and then we're going to do it 2 more times. We're going to chain 2, and then we're going to go next door there into the space in between these 2 singles and do 3 double crochets. Okay. Now we're going to go into this open space here, 3 double crochets. And we're going to repeat this. So we're going to go into the space in between these 2 singles with a double crochet. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to chain 2 and then go into the space in between these 2 singles and do 3 double crochets. Okay, 3 double crochets in this space right here. 1, 2, and 3. And let's do our corner like we did the other 3 times. Yarn over, go into the space in between the 2 singles there. 1, 2, and 3. Chain 2, go into the space in between the 2 singles there. I have the tail from the previous row. I'm about to crochet around that to hold it in place. Yarn over, go in. 1, 2, and 3. There we go, perfect. And now we're going to go into the last space right here with 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Okay. So to close out the round, we're not going to go into the chain space. We're going to go right into the middle. That middle stitch, go in, drop a loop, and slip to close. It's just more stable. It makes better sense. So now we're going to chain 2. Grab our scissors, trim that down, pull the hook away from our work, pinch and pull down. Okay. I'm going to place you on a brief pause. I'm going to sew in the ends and trim, and then we'll go on to round 4. Okay, now that I've sewn in the ends, we're going to go back to pink for round 4. And as always, we're going to create a slip knot on our hook. Just like that. We're going to go into the corner with a standing single crochet. So we're going to go in, draw up a loop. We have 2 loops on the hook. Yarn over, go through both, chain 1, go back in and do a single crochet, chain 1, and then single crochet, just like that. We're going to chain 2 and go in between the granny clusters here with a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2, and then do our corner, which is a single chain, single chain, single. So it's going to be a single and a chain, single and a chain, and then single. And then from here, we're going to chain 2. Always over the granny clusters, chain 2. And then in between, we're going to do 1 single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, chain 2. And then in your corner, we're going to do the whole corner piece there, which is a single and a chain, single and a chain, and then a single. All right, so continue on with that, and I will meet you at the end of round 4. Okay, so here we are at the end of round 4. What we're going to do is we're going to chain 2, and then we're going to go into the very first single crochet, making sure to pick up the front and the back loop, draw up a loop, and slip to close. And then we're going to chain 2, grab our scissors, cut a tail, pull the hook away from our work, and then pull down to lock that into place. Okay, so I'm going to place you on a brief pause, sew in my ends, and then we'll move on to the next round. Okay, so this is the end of 4 rounds. So we're going to go ahead and do a 5th round here. All right, so we're going to go back to the white. As I mentioned earlier, we alternate between the 2 colors. And so we're going to create a slip knot on our hook. And we're going to go back into a corner. We're going to insert our hook, create a standing single crochet, just like that, where we have done that already. We're going to chain 2. And we're going to go back into that space with the rest of our granny cluster, which is 2 more double crochets. We're going to chain 2. We're going to hop over to the next space in between my thumbs there, yarn over, go in and do 3 double crochets. And then in every space here, we also get 3 double crochets, no chains in between. 1, 2, and 3. Next door, 1, 2, and 3. And it's pretty straightforward, friends. So in every space, it's going to get 3 double crochets. So in every space like this, and then in your corners, you have 2 spaces, one here and one here, that get 3 double crochets apiece. So continue doing that, and I will meet you at the end of round 5, okay? Okay, so here we are at the end of round 5, and like previous, we're going to go right into that middle stitch, not the chains. That middle stitch, drop a loop, and slip to close, chain 2. We're going to get our scissors, and we're going to trim by cutting a tail here, pulling the hook away from our work, pinch and pull down, and then I'm going to sew in the ends. I will be right back. Okay, so we have 5 rows or 5 rounds completed. This is what we're looking like. Now, traditionally, the modern granny square doesn't have 3 single crochets in the corner here. Traditionally, it would literally just be the 2. But I actually think that this is a more cleaner look by having that 1 extra single crochet separating all of the clusters instead of, not separating the corners. So I'm going to do the next round with you, and then after that I'm going to do several more rounds so that you can see what this looks like on a bigger scale. So let's go ahead and create a slip knot on our hook for round 6. Okay, so let's go into the corner here, do a standing single crochet and chain 1, single crochet, chain 1, and then a single crochet, chain 2, go into the space with a single, chain 2, space, single, just like that. And what you'll notice is when you're doing, this is another reason why I do chain 2, it actually reels everything together. If you can see how, loose all this is, by doing this, it actually, keeps everything compact, nice and neat. So I'm going to continue doing this. Chain 2 in between all of our clusters, and then a single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then in the corner here, well, let's get there first, chain 2, and then in the corner it's going to be a single crochet chain, single crochet chain, and then a single crochet. Okay, so continue on with that, and I will meet you at the end of round 6. Okay, so here I am at the end of round 6. I've chained 2, and now I'm going to go into that very first standing single crochet. I'm going to draw up a loop, slip to close, chain 2, and cut a tail. Pull the hook away from our work, pinch and pull down, and that concludes round 6. So you can kind of see how doing the chain 2 and the single crochet reels everything back together. When you finish your modern granny project, however big you go, it's highly recommended that you finish your work with this row here. It just gives it a finishing touch. It looks super nice. And this is what the back is looking like. Okay, so I'm going to continue doing several more rows, and I will be back in just a second. Okay, friends, so I've done several more rows, and this is what we're looking like. Super nice. And then I finished it off with the single crochet, chain 2, single crochet to keep it nice and tight and together. You can continue on with this as far as you'd like. The options are endless. You can make many motifs this size or even smaller. It's completely up to you. But that, my friends, is the tutorial for the modern granny square. So if you enjoyed this content, please feel free to give me a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and then of course hit those notifications to stay updated with me and my channel. That is all for now, and until the next one, take care, guys. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.